Hurrdat Sports. You are locked into the Husker Army podcast with your hosts, Husker fanatic Bryan Knutzen, former Husker wide receiver Kenny Cheatham, and Husker recruiting guru Matt Sass. Follow him.
The topic of changes, Nick Henrich hangs up the pads this offseason as he medically retires, but will still be around the Huskers next fall. He tells 1011 he will be pursuing an internship within athletic leadership, similar to Adrian Martinez, who worked with Trev Alberts this past season. Henrich talked last week on how the lessons on the field can translate to life outside the gridiron.
Football teaches you so much that applies to the real world, so I'm really looking forward to it. It's hard to replicate the thrill of, making a big play and just all the amazing people you get to meet along the way, and the trials and the the ups and the downs. There's really nothing like it. So football's been really good to me.
What's going on, everybody? Fall in, at attention. You are locked into another episode of the Husker Army podcast, brought to you by the Hurrdat Sports Network, and the Facebook fan page, the Husker Army 2024. Today, I am your host, as always, Bryan Knutzen, joined by former Husker wide receiver Kenny Cheatham, our recruiting guru, Mr. Herbie Husker, a.k.a. Matt Sass, and our guests, one of the fastest growing Husker podcasts going right now. Got Coach B.A. from the B.A. Coaches Show. And, of course, we've got former black shirt Nick Henrich joining us today, and recent Husker defensive line commit Malcolm Simpson. So, gentlemen, everybody, thank you for joining us today. Let's roll right into it. Nick, I asked you this off camera. That feel when Rule got hired, what was it like for the team?
Yeah, as I was telling you guys, I found out before everyone else because I wasn't playing versus Iowa because of an ACL. So I found it out, I think, 30 minutes before the game, before kickoff, and then I tell you what, it was a pretty weird feeling because none of us knew what to expect, but we kind of rallied together, and a lot of us wanted to stay and see it through.
Man, that's good. And like I said, I'm so glad you guys did.
Yeah,
we
too.
saw a heck of a jump with that defense this past season. Every single game, it seemed like you guys were getting better. I was just recently watching the Illinois game right before we started. You guys set the tone in that. I think that's where you really solidified what you guys were going to be. That first drive Illinois had, stopping them at third, fourth, and one at the goal line, absolutely amazing. Did it again in the third quarter. You guys really set the tone for the rest of the season.
Yeah,
what was it like being under Coach White for that season?
Yeah, Coach White's he's one of probably the smartest football minds I've ever been around, and he had such a big emphasis of just being physical and running to the ball and bringing pressure and not sitting and waiting for what the offense was going to do. We were going to be the ones attacking, and it was really a lot of fun to play under, and I think that mentality helped us have the year we did last year.
Yeah, you guys did absolutely amazing. Matt, let's go to you real quick. What did you see out of that defense last season other than utter just dominance as the season went? They improved every week.
From what I really saw is the improvements. That was noticeable. And just other than that, it looks like you guys were just having fun.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Way more fun than maybe I've seen a Husker defense have for a while. Obviously we all know about, there was some, I don't know if it was coaching or what, but the difference from Frost to Rule, it looked night and day. So, yeah. And it looked like you guys honestly were just having fun out there. When we blocked was it a field goal, I believe?
Mm-hmm.
And ran it in for a touchdown. I think it was, I can't remember who we were playing, but they're high-fiving each other on the way to the end zone. I know Rule said that he wouldn't be happy about that, but right there, it's just, if you're having fun, you're playing hard.
Yeah.
So.
Exactly. And it's a lot easier to have fun when you're playing good defense, I will say. So that certainly helps.
Yeah, I mean, and then the only other thing that, I mean, it just looked like the tackling was so much better this last year, and it made me so happy.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was something I saw was the tackling. I mean, not missing very many open field tackles, coming in like a bullet, filling holes.
Mm-hmm.
It was great. Coach, you've got a great football mind, my man. So what did you see out of its defense last season?
Well, something that I saw, I thought right away was, and I'm not throwing any shade on any previous regime, I could just tell throughout the first couple games, this defense was going to be so much better. I was really happy with how the 3-3 scheme looked. I was a little curious, but as someone who's coached in the 3-3 and against the 3-3, I did expect it to do pretty well, especially as teams hadn't seen it very much. And I knew right away, kind of like you had said, the tackling was so much better. There was so much more, I felt, just get to the ball, so much more athleticism, so much more hard hits. Something I kind of wanted to ask Nick, if you cool with me throwing a question at him.
Sure, yeah.
I was kind of curious as, kind of like I said, not throwing any shade, but Tony White is a fantastic defensive coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
How important was it to you guys right away to just like get him in, and like how big of a difference did he make on that defense, him showing up right away and being fantastic?
Yeah, I mean, it meant everything, honestly, because – you know, sometimes a new coach can come in and just like, this is what we're doing. Like, this is it, point blank, period. And well, like he had his philosophy that he was going to implement. He allowed us to also suggest things and like, okay, like what about this? Why are we doing this? He allowed us to ask questions and be curious, which led us to just further understand the defense more.
And I love that. I fully believe in that. I love that.
Absolutely. Yeah. We had that trust between player and coach, and that, you know, on the field, it's coach player, but off the field, it's man to man. And we're going to communicate and ask questions to each other and find the best solution together. So it was good.
Yeah, I love to hear that.
Now, Malcolm, let's bring you in on the conversation talking about the defense. What solidified the commitment?
It was really Coach Knight and the players. I like how Coach Knight treated his players. So by me saying that, it's like, the way he talked to them, it reminded me of my school, like with other players, how he's like serious on the field, but when he in the film room, he's chatting it off, makes everybody and stuff like that.
I like it. I mean, did they talk to you about everything about the black shirts, the whole tradition there?
Not that I know of.
Oh boy.
Right when I got there, they was already showing me plays and stuff.
I love it. I love it. Is it going to be a huge jump from high school football in Texas to coming to Nebraska? Because to be honest, high school football here ain't the same.
Like for me, it might be because it's cold up there, and I'm gonna have to get used to it anyway. And I didn't know it was gonna be. I seen the videos on social media that it snows, but I have to get used to it anyway. And by me having a big jump from Texas to Nebraska, everybody asks me, "Oh, why do you go to Nebraska?" Because like I like the coaching, and that's really the main thing I'm really worried about. Everything else, I don't care about nothing else. As long as we got good coaches, that's all that matters.
That's a great answer, young man. I mean, that's almost a perfect answer. Matt, let's open it up to you. You're our recruiting guru. You hit me up as soon as he had his commitment hit.
Oh, yeah, I was pumped.
I'm sure he'd love to ask Malcolm something.
I just love your film. I mean, your first step, I mean, you show a lot of energy, and just the get-up is just incredible. And I can see your athleticism, I mean, especially with a basketball background and stuff like that. So, I'm excited.
Appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely.
I think I could almost speak for almost every Husker fan when we're all pretty excited about it. So, yeah, Kenny, let's have you hop in. We haven't heard from you in a moment. I mean, young man coming here from Texas, you came from Arizona, so you know what it's like.
First of all, you're never going to get used to the cold. I'm going to say that off top.
I don't think anyone ever does.
Second semester, first year, I think I went to class maybe 5 times. I stayed in my dorm room. That's that. And all jokes aside, man, we're glad to have you. We appreciate you taking that commitment and coming to Nebraska. We need it. We want it. We want to see us back on top. It's been a hard couple years, but we saw the transition with the guys, especially last year, and the changeover once Mickey took over. How well our defense has been pretty much our saving grace the last couple years, and we really need some more dogs in there to get that. And when the offense catches up, I think we'll have something to be proud of, something that we can continue to enjoy watching, and something that will give the dogs on defense a rest if they're doing their job on offense, so that they're fresh and not continuously out there wearing them down. So it's just good, man. It's good to see people, and I'm happy to see people enthused about what's going on in Nebraska right now. From a offensive standpoint, I don't like defensive players. No offense, Nick.
None taken.
So, it's competitive banter and just wired differently, man. But it's awesome, man. And you're from Texas, so my family's from Texas, so I have deep Texas roots. But going to Lincoln, it's going to be different. But one thing you need to do is really research the meaning of the Nebraska black shirts and what that means. It's not just a saying. It is a way of life in practice and on the field. It is something, and we've had this on previous shows, Brian, when we brought up my boys. It was something that I personally got to see during my time in Nebraska.
Yep.
I saw guys cry getting that black shirt. That's how much it meant to those guys on defense when they got their black shirt. And I'm talking about some of them that's in that Nebraska Hall of Fame. They cried when they got that black shirt. The locker room vibe changed the day they were issued their black shirts. You get what I'm saying? When we walked in that locker room, those dudes had that shirt sitting in their locker on their stool. Oh man, it was just a different vibe. And there was nothing to me as far as a Nebraska former player and just offensive player to go out there and go ones versus ones. And I thought it was the coolest thing that everyone on that side of the ball had a black shirt on. And you knew these are top dogs. And the rest of you are the other guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that first practice for offensive players, that must have been just a blast for him.
Oh man, because I said, hey, why we have to play in the ugly jerseys we're playing in this week? And these guys got cool jerseys on. Why can't we have something cool to differentiate the ones and the twos? It was like, whatever, coach. Then I just went on about my business. But yeah, man, it's deep, bro. So really look into it. You're going to gain a lot of respect when you really look at the history of it and what it means for not only Nebraska, but college football in general.
Yeah, just real quick, Malcolm, I kind of want to give you an inside look at what it's like to be a black shirt, earn a black shirt. So, Nick, if you could you give a quick explanation of that to him?
Yeah, I mean, if you're, like I said, like Coach said, I'd really recommend you take some time and you research the history of Nebraska. As a kid, I grew up in Nebraska, so I knew about the tradition and what it meant. And when he's talking about it's a way of lifestyle, it truly is. Like when you have that jersey, everyone has bad days, but you can't have a bad day. You can't have a bad day mentally. And if you do, you got to kind of suck it up and go to work with your lunch pail every single day. And I think that's the biggest thing is you got to set the tone in practice and you got to lead the defense when you have that shirt on. And let me tell you, though, just if you show up, if you bust your butt every day, if you're humble, if you're coachable, you'd be surprised how naturally it's going to come to you with all your talent you have. So I just encourage you to do those things, man. I'm really excited to watch you.
Appreciate that.
I think you're going to have a hell of a time here, Malcolm. I really do.
And the cold ain't that bad. Trust me, it's all right. I'm from there, though, so.
Yeah, if you've grown up here, it's a lot different. You can say 10 degrees doesn't feel cold.
You can, yeah.
But you guys did go through the -30, -40 like a year or so ago. That was hell. I'm sorry, Malcolm. Don't decommit. It doesn't happen all the time. It's very rare. Very rare.
No, I think we only had one major snowstorm last year.
Yeah. Last year wasn't
That's
bad
it.
at all.
I mean, that's a pretty down year, but I mean, yeah, we still got like 6 inches of snow, but for us to only have
That's
one
only
major
6 inches.
snowstorm was
Yeah.
nice.
It
Yeah, the
snowed.
whole winter, that's nothing.
It had snowed in Texas. And boy, I did not like it. Oh my god. Man.
Like Kenny said, you never really get used to it, though. But
You just adjust to it. You learn to
go.
play in it. Just learn to deal with it.
It was just too cold. I ain't had no gloves, so I wore some socks on my like 3 pairs of socks.
Oh, you pretty much went up there butt naked, my man. So you got to go up there and have the artillery ready. Hey,
Now,
my recruiting trip, I had on 2 bomber jackets, just to let you know how cold I was.
I ain't
Yeah,
know.
I'll
Nick,
tell you right
doesn't
I
Rule
think
like to
Malcolm's
practice in the
first
cold?
NIL deal. Malcolm's first NIL deal for Long Johns, dude.
Yeah,
Rule the unders, man. Not the food. Just the Long Johns underwear, dude.
Rule
This
is
man's
one of
gonna
the few.
need some thermal.
Rule is one of the few head coaches I think who loves practicing in the cold. Like we practice in the morning early, and if it's cold, he likes to go out there and get us acclimated to it. So yeah, we will practice in it.
Hey, got to get used to it, man. I get it.
Absolutely.
You do. Yeah, see, Coach, you live in Kansas right now.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it gets colder there.
Yeah. It's I think it's definitely a thing. But hey, all I'll say is if it was good enough for Bill Belichick and the Patriots to always practice outside in the cold, I don't see why in Nebraska you wouldn't do the same thing. That's just my thinking, at least. Because I just feel like you got to get used to it. And if you're outside in it every day, I feel like it doesn't become as big a deal, in my opinion.
I hear you. Malcolm, real quick. I mean, noticing what you're listed as at 6'3", 255, and they want you to play on the defensive line. I mean, you've seen our strength and conditioning coach, Coach Campbell. The other one left. But I would assume this guy is planning on packing on maybe another 20 pounds of muscle on you. You down for that?
I'm cool with anything. I ain't really tripping. Oh, my bad.
No, you're good, dude. You can say
you're
whatever.
good.
You're good.
I'm cool with anything as long as I'm getting big. That's all that matters. I just want some more speed on me so I can get off that line.
They'll make sure of that too. Yeah,
I'm very excited for you to get in the strength and conditioning program at Nebraska. I think you are going to be an absolute dog once Coach Campbell gets his hands on you, dude.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I literally call Coach Campbell the Black Incredible Hulk. I mean, when you wear a sweatshirt and you still see everything popping out.
Yeah, he's a monster.
It's ridiculous. I love that guy. I want to live with him one time. Just once. That's all I want.
In the weight room, too, of course. I mean, that new weight room it's sick.
It really is. I mean, the whole new facilities they've got is just amazing. Kenny's just going to shake his head because he just didn't get any of that. You guys got the big screens?
Kenny's a little bit jealous. I can tell in his face. He's a little bit jealous.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like, wait a minute. We're all jealous.
I was wrong about that big screen they put in, Kenny. It wasn't a football length. It was 100 feet long. Not 100 yards. It's still life size.
Crazy, man. You know we thought, hey, we thought all the stuff they were talking about they had before when they got all that recent stuff and when they did all that with Peterson and Callahan was crazy. This is just absurd. These guys got all of this stuff. Hey, man, listen. We might come down off the mountain and tear that building down if we don't start seeing big W's. Because the group text that we're in,
waiting for.
Hey, man, the group text that we're in, it's about 30 of us, and it's vicious. It is absolutely vicious. What the hell is going on? There's Ruck, there's Foreman, there's Farley, there's Jackson, McFarland, Warfield. There's everybody. And let me tell you, we're like, this is unbelievable. Can you imagine we were happy to have our little lounge. We had a little lounge with like 4 sectionals with 1 TV. It's pretty much where we slept during tour days for 30 minutes. We very seldom went in there. And that was it. And we had 4 TVs in the locker room. One would be on country, one would be on rock and roll, one was rap. Well, no, 2 was rap. You had the DBs and running backs and receivers all in one area. So that was rap. The lineman was over there, so that was country.
Yep.
The linebackers and all them dudes would be over there with us because we had the rap. And then in the corner, you had the O-lineman, and that was rock and roll. That was living life. Big back TVs at that. How about that?
Oh,
and
God.
And the coolest experience we had was them going in the equipment room, playing the recorded videotaping of James Sims whooping Rashawn Jackson and John Madden so everyone could see it so he couldn't deny it. on all TVs.
That's good stuff.
Love it.
Oh, man. So, good stuff.
All right. Hey, Coach, do you have anything else you'd like to ask Nick besides, how it was under Coach White, like scheme-wise? Because myself,
Yeah.
When the 3-3-5 was announced, I was like, oh, boy. I didn't like it because I know how much depends on that linebacking core.
Mm-hmm.
It's the base of it, period. If they can't fill holes, if they can't make tackles, if they can't knock down passes, your defense is pretty much screwed. Yeah. So getting to see Nick and the rest of the linebacking core hold up and make me eat my words, which I loved, it was great to see. So what would you like to ask Nick about running that scheme?
So one of the questions I have for you that I was kind of thinking is, how much of a transition was it for the players? Like, did you guys have a lot to learn? Like, was it an easy learning process? Was it a fun learning process? I know for me on the coaching side, whenever I first started coaching in the 3-3, I was like, oh, I got a lot to learn about this thing. And I love the defense now. Because the way I always explain it is, if you're a quarterback, especially a younger quarterback, and you're just looking at like a basic 4-3 shell type deal, these 4 people are coming at me, got the 3 linebackers behind. It's kind of simple. It's like if they do blitz, it's probably a late blitz, but you kind of know where pressure's coming from because they're showing it. In the 3-3 stack, you got people moving constantly pre-snap. You only know these 3 D linemen are coming at me, but you got 8 other guys that might be coming, might not. You don't know where from. So that's why I really like the defense. You can show so many different looks with it. But what was it like from your guys' perspective of just trying to learn the thing?
Yeah, I think honestly for some of us it was easier than others, but I think the biggest thing, like you said, was we didn't have a lot of disguise really in my previous 4 years. And like me and Luke especially, who played a ton of snaps at linebacker, we were real like stagnant in the beginning. Because Coach Rude, that was one of his big philosophies, is like have your feet in the ground, know what you're looking at, and then play ball. This is no, you gotta walk around, disguise, show your blitzing, show your dropping, and then so the quarterback doesn't know what's going on. So that was a little adjustment, but once we got that, I mean, we picked up the defense and the philosophy pretty quick, and from there it was more of a conceptual like questions that we would ask Coach White, and like, okay, because again we'd always think like worst case scenario, like what if they do this, how are we going to defend this, aren't we missing guys over there, or like who fills here? So but those conversations, I mean, anytime you're talking ball with someone like Coach White and Coach Dvorak, it's always just fun. So I think once we learned the disguise part of it, and you don't need to just stand there and not move, it was a good transition. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, Coach Dvorak is one of my favorite. The few conversations I've got to have with him, he's one of my favorite people to talk ball with, and he's such a good dude. Every time I've ever reached out, like literally a couple of weeks ago, I had a football question. I send the dude a text, and he responds to me and actually answers my question. This football stuff. So he's a really good dude, and I'm jealous that you got to be around the dude every day because he seems awesome, and he's got a really bright future in coaching.
He does, man. I mean, he's seriously probably one of the better human beings I think I've ever met. And his ability to connect with and impact people, along with how smart he is and how dedicated he is to this. And he's under 30 still, I think. He's so young.
Yeah.
We used to joke around that I was going to be older than him soon in the linebacker room. So But yeah, we were really, really blessed with him, and he's going to have a great, great future as a coach.
Oh yeah, 100%. I met him at a coaching clinic in Kansas City, like right after all the guys got hired. I want to say it was like February, maybe it was March by then. And I kind of went in like, okay, I kind of want to get to learn some of these guys' schemes, kind of some things they do, because I was all about, I want to see what Nebraska's going to end up doing this year. And I ended up talking to Rob like after the clinic or whatever, and I ended up talking to Coach Rule too. But I ended up, Dvorak's like, oh, hey, we need to stay in touch. Here's my cell phone number. And I was like, holy crap, I'm getting a cell phone number from Nebraska's linebackers coach. Like, it was a big deal to me. Just the little child in me, that grew up a Cornhusker fan was like, holy shit, man, this is awesome.
Yeah, that's sweet. That's awesome.
So he's a really good dude, and he's someone so I came up last August and visited practice. And it was really cool that he went out of his way to come talk to me, hey, come watch this, come watch some of the drills we do. I thought that was really cool of him. He remembered me by name, and I thought that was a really cool thing that, like you said, he makes time to make connections with people. And he's, like I said, I try not to harp on this, but he's a really good dude. And
yeah, absolutely.
I think I am very glad that he's at the University of Nebraska.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, Malcolm, you were talking about the coaching being really important in the recruiting process and the big reason why you committed. Which coach really was it that was it? This is who it's going to be. This is the reason I'm going.
Coach Knutzen. Boom.
Yeah, he offered you at your high school, right? Just walked in and offered you, like, right there?
Yes, Coach Knutzen. He a cool coach. Like, he remind me of my coach, my AAU basketball coach, Coach Dre Dearman. And that's my uncle. So I just don't know. By me and him talking one day when he came to Hitchcock High School, I had a connection with him, and we were just sitting there just talking for a long time. And I think I missed like 2 periods, and I had to do the work for 2 periods. But yeah, I like Coach Knighton, and then like his D line cool too. Like Vincent, I like Vincent. Now he's one of the main reasons why too I wanted to commit, because how cool everybody was, and especially Vincent and Coach Knighton. Coach Knighton could be like a second father to me. Like, if I needed help, he'll be there. And then he told me he gonna help with my hands. So that's all I really need to hear.
I love that, because if there's one thing Rule has, it's making sure there's coaches that are going to connect with the players and not feed them a bunch of bullshit. They're going to tell you, look, either I'm still going to be here when you get here, or I'm not by the time you graduate. So I can tell you right now, Malcolm, Coach Knighton's going to be here from the time you get on campus to the time you leave. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah, and he knows what it takes to get you to the league. Like, he played in the league. Like, he knows what it takes. So that's what I like.
Now, whether the league is the ultimate goal or not, Malcolm,
it's always the goal.
Yeah, it's always the goal. I'm pretty sure every kid playing college football wants to play in the NFL. So why not?
But no, that's good to hear that you had that personal connection with Coach Knighton. A lot of times people don't understand, or they underestimate how important that actually is. You like to hear people say, "Oh, I committed to the school." When you're dealing with out-of-state kids, we don't have that same Nebraska. So it's those personal connections that you make with coaches, which brings you to schools out of your area. So to hear that you're already, which is saying you're pretty much going to go in there being comfortable with the coach and who he is as a person. Now all you have to do, young brother, is just put in the work nonstop, continue to get better, listen, be coachable, and do what's asked of you and more, and you'll be fine. So that's good to hear.
This has been our new segment, Wisdom by Kenny. Beautiful though. I mean, he's absolutely right, Malcolm. You come in and just you put your nose to the grindstone, get everything done, do as you're asked. I mean, the sky's the limit for you here. I can guarantee it.
Yep.
It's gonna be fun.
Oh, yeah. That makes me really happy to hear that about Coach Knighton as well, though, because something that I've always said, and I understand I'm not like a college coach. I only coach at a high school level, right? But something that I've always tried to live my entire coaching philosophy by is the kids need to know how much you care before they'll ever care about how much you know. So, and that makes me happy to know that Knighton is already building that connection with you early. That makes me really happy to hear. That's something I personally try and do coaching. So I like to see that, and I think that's the type of coaches that we have at Nebraska right now, and that makes me happy.
Yeah, you have to have a personal relationship with the young men you're shaping on any level of coaching.
100%.
If you don't, the kids see it as a business. That's what the NFL is. The NFL is a business. But when you get coaches, even on that level, in which players in the NFL rave about, who do they talk about? They talk about the Mike Tomlins. They talk about the Tony Dungy's. They talk about the Lovie Smiths. They talk about the Wade Phillips. They talk about all these guys. You guys see where I'm going, that they have a personal relationship with their players. Those are the ones that the kids will play 1,000% lights out, balls out for you every time they step between those lines.
Yep.
And that was us under Coach Osborne. Coach Osborne knew mom, dad's name, little brother, little sister, nephews. Kenny, how's so-and-so doing? He's okay, Coach. How's your mother? How's Marilyn doing? She's okay, Coach. Blah, blah, blah. I talked to Chester. He would call. He would call our parents. And my dad would be like, I talked to Coach Osborne. I was like, hey, what I do this time, bro? No, he just called to say you were doing all right. Oh, okay. I talked to Coach Brown. Hey, man, what that cat say to you, man? Nah, he just calling to see how I'm doing. But you get what I'm saying? I mean, that's personal. So it goes back to coaching. If Nick said that's what they started seeing under Matt Rule, it makes a difference. It makes a difference. That bonehead play you would have made, normally you don't make.
Yep.
You just don't tackle that man out of bounds.
Yeah.
Because you just don't block that man in the back. Or you just don't tackle that quarterback late and slam him to the ground. It's little things like that, because you have that relationship, and a disappointment they're going to have in you, not only as a player, but as a person, because you made that mistake and you know better. Mm-hmm. It's totally different. Mm-hmm. It's totally different. When you see guys put their head down because they know, I really don't want to face him because I know I messed up and I shouldn't have did. It's a different vibe. It's a different way that you play the game. So, that's good, man. That's good to hear.
And touching on what you said there, Kenny, about Matt Rule really caring for the kids, I'm sure all you guys, Malcolm, maybe you haven't quite yet seen Matt Rule on Joel Klatt, and Joel had asked him what the difference was between coaching in NFL and college and what he'd rather do. And he said he'd rather coach college because you can get that connection. You don't have that connection in the NFL. You're dealing with grown men. You're dealing with financials. You're dealing with a business. You come to college, you're dealing with young men that haven't been quite developed fully yet. You have a role in their lives. You have a dedication to them. You have a whole thing you have to take care of when they come in. It blew me away just for how he talks about developing young players, and not just on the football field, just in life. It was absolutely eye-opening. It made me love the man even more, and I didn't think it was possible. But the man is a class act, and he says he's here for the long haul. I absolutely believe him. I've even made the comment, if PSU came calling, he ain't going to leave. So I think we got the guy. I really do. It's just what he says. So Malcolm, I think you're in for a hell of a treat, young man.
You'll be in good hands, brother.
I know I'm going to be in good hands. I know I am.
And that's good that he knows that already.
Yeah.
Man.
Awesome.
All right, so Nick, let's hop into quick non-football thing. You said you just moved out to Cali.
Yes, sir.
How's it going?
Man, it's great. The life post football it's weird, it's different, but I'm really was really proud of what we did as a unit, and kind of, obviously my class, our main goal was to bring Nebraska back and go to a bowl game, and we didn't do that, but I was really, really proud of the kind of we did bring back the defense in a way, in my opinion, and having that closure and knowing my body was done. And, you always wonder what if sometimes, but boy, I'm blessed, and I'm really lucky to have met the brothers and the amazing coaches that I had. And I wouldn't have changed it any other way. So it was good.
Yeah, it was a sad day seeing you have the post that you were hanging at the cleats. It's like, damn. I mean, I get it, but damn.
Yeah, I mean, that was a really tough decision, because, like, we're all saying the NFL's, that's a dream for everyone. You know what I mean? And who knows what would have happened? Like, I had, like, Luke, I thought was for sure going to make it, and he ended up not making a roster, and that's kind of the game up there. You know what I mean? And I knew my body was done, and it was with this second ACL in the same knee, it would have been, I still got another 4 or 5 months of rehab on it, which is, it's a long road. And at this point, doctors are saying it, it can't handle the same volume that it used to. And, you can try, but if you play 20 snaps, you're probably going to tear it again. And to me, that was the difference. If I can't go out there and play 60, 70 snaps and be myself, I don't want to play. I want to end my career how I want to end it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's I totally get what you're saying. You have to. Here's the thing I'm gonna say with that one. One, you left on terms to where you can be. The transition is going to take a little bit, but when you look back at it, you're going to be, I would say, happy. You're always going to have that itch, but you're going to be happy that you did it because it was something that was out of your control.
Yeah.
And I say that with being the fact that, and I've told a story to Bryan. When I came out, I was at Nebraska. We didn't throw the ball during my era there.
Right on.
So you think I was top 20 with 43 catches over my career? That just goes to show you.
Yeah.
So I signed as a free agent with the New York Giants. And I went into camp banged up. And they were like, we're going to see you in NFL Europe. This is when NFL Europe was in play back then. Okay, fine. So I come home. I had a major car accident. Drunk driver hit me. Okay, all right. Let me rehab from this. So I said, let me go back to Nebraska, finish my degree. I have the training room. I have the training, all the stuff I need there to do my rehab to get back healthy to this. I had another accident a couple months. Pizza man from one of the chains out there, Bryan heard me tell the story, ran into me, looking at an address. And I picture this pre-GPS, looking for an address, ran a light hit me. So I had 2 major car accidents in about 4 or 5 month span. So I finished up school, came back home, and I grinded for about 1.5 years, man. Because when I first had the accidents, I couldn't jog any more than 10 yards. My knees would just be sore underneath the bones, the shins. So I grinded. Then I started having all these workouts. I was supposed to have one with the Patriots, but I didn't go it. I was supposed to have one with the Redskins. I didn't go. But I was doing these workouts, and I would be sore for like 4 or 5 days. The sports game. And Malcolm, I'm sure you've had injuries as a youngster. When you strain a hamstring, you compensate. You're going to strain the other one.
Yep.
Or something else on your leg, or because you're compensating your lower back. It's that whole thing. I sat there one day, and I was with my trainer, and I said, you know what? Because I had offers for Canadian. I had contracts, and I said, you know what? If I'm going to go out there and be sore like this, my body can't take it. I'm at peace.
Right.
So me making that decision put me at peace with saying, I just can't physically do it. Mentally, yes.
Yeah.
But physically, no. What are going to be the long-term effects of that? Me walking around bent all over like an old man for a few moments of glory and money, or me having my faculties being healthy? You know what I mean? Being able to stand upright and say, you know what? I'm at peace with that.
Right.
But yeah, of course, you still get you go watch a game. The biggest thing, your transition, I'm going to tell you now, is when you go back to a game and you're standing on the sideline and you see them playing. Your heart gets to pumping like a racehorse. It's like, oh man. But then you're like, ooh, but that's gonna be your biggest transition, brother. So don't get frustrated
Mm-hmm.
when you have those moments. Understand it's coming, but then always remind yourself, physically, I was unable to do it.
Right on. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you would have tried, but you have to be smarter than what your body's smarter than what your mind is a lot of times. So
no doubt. Appreciate that.
It's very hard not to listen to your heart. It really is.
Absolutely.
I mean, even today, I've been out of football since high school. I'm 42 years old. I still have that itch to jump out there, but I know physically I can't do it. I've had back surgery. I've had neck surgery. I mean, there's just no way.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's why I work out every day. I've got to keep myself in shape. Otherwise, I get bad again. So, yeah, the drive's still there, but physically you can't.
Yeah, sometimes that's hard to, wrap your head around, like we're saying, but, that is like, I truly believe God has a plan for everyone. And, he wouldn't have put me in this position without knowing that there was something better off for me. And whatever that is, I can't wait to figure out. But yeah, I'm proud of what I did and what my whole class did. And like I said, I was just at a wedding with a bunch of them and I think there's no feeling like it. Coming back and not seeing some guys for a while and you start reminiscing and you have those bonds and that brotherhood forever. So that's pretty special.
That had to be a hell of a reception.
It was a good time, man. It was a good time.
That's cool. Yeah, that's cool, man. I just, you guys class went through, I'm going to say this, a lot of turmoil.
It was a lot.
And don't think it was unappreciated on what you guys dealt with from the outside, because we appreciated everything you guys had to deal with. Trust me, we get it. Yeah, we're hard on you guys, but that's just brotherly love from big brothers to little brothers donning that uniform. But we understand. And I've said it before, Matt has heard me say it, Brian's heard me say it, I don't know if Coach has heard me say it. That whole turmoil from how they fired Mike Riley to hiring Scott Frost and all this stuff and just expectation, to me, that was just a total, it was unfair to any kids in the program and coming into the program.
Yep.
And then you throw in the biggest whammy of everything, which was COVID.
Yeah, it was wild. So stupid.
You guys dealt with some.
You can say it, Kenny.
Shit.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Oh,
I mean, it was a time I'm like, man, that's a lot. That's a lot of mental stress. And people have to remember, these are young men. Malcolm, you're a young man. You're coming in there as a young man. People look and see the physical bodies and say, oh, you think we're these professionals. These are young men. I got to Nebraska at 17. You think most are leaving at 23, 22, now 24 maybe. But these are young men, and that was a lot to deal with. And then what's going on, and then the outside noise you're hearing about how you guys from, oh, they're doing this. And then, I get it. We get it. So you guys held your head up, the ones who stayed. I'm not down to the ones who left. I get it. You had a flexibility now. Sometimes kids just want to play more. But we're proud of you, man. And trust me, you guys, especially with this past year, with that newer transition, held your head up, played well. And, we're glad you guys left the program where it's at, and hopefully it can continue to build from there.
Right on. Yeah. I think for all of us, just to now, like, knowing we laid the foundation to see it take off and, see what Coach Rule and the staff will do it'll make it all worth it. And that'll be really special to be able to watch those games and say, like, we helped build that. So that's pretty cool.
All right, we'll go ahead and start winding it down. I think Malcolm needs to go back to bed. The poor young man looks like he is just dead tired. I know we got him up early on a Sunday. That is my bad. So I apologize about that. So real quick, Malcolm, what's left on the agenda till you get here to Lincoln?
Just keep working. Every day some workouts, get my work done. Still just interact with the coaches, see what I got to do with everything else, and until that's over, I'm gonna be in Nebraska.
Take advantage of it, man.
That's right.
Take advantage of it. You guys have more opportunities this generation to train and prepare for the next level than we ever had.
Oh yeah.
The camps, the workout facilities. It's just that's why guys are playing earlier as freshmen than we did. We weren't physically as ready as you guys, mentally as prepared as you guys. So take advantage of it. Keep working hard, man, and can't wait to see you up there, young man.
I really want the flow pod. Oh.
And before I forgot to show this when we started for you, Malcolm, but since you're joining, we got the enlisted graphic for you. You're in. You're part of the Husker Army, regardless.
That's good.
So I'll go ahead and if you want to keep that at all, I'll go ahead and message it to you on Twitter. You can do with it what you want. We keep it though, so you're forever enlisted. So if you ever wanted to be in the armed forces, I'm sorry. This is about as far as you're going to get. And of course, Nick, we didn't forget you either, my friend. We got you enlisted as well. It was tough to find one with you in the red jersey. A lot of your highlights are in away jerseys.
Man, that's wild.
It was tough.
Yeah, I'm glad you got one, though. Appreciate it.
So we found that as well. And of course, the coach, BA, man, I can't thank you enough for joining.
Oh yeah.
Hey, thank you for having me. This was a podcast that I was like, all right, well, as I'm starting to make some rounds and hopping on some shows, I'm like, I really want to be on the Husker Army podcast because I really do love your guys' show and you guys have a really good thing going. So I'm very thankful to be a part of this episode and talking to future black shirt and a former black shirt. It was a great time for me.
I felt like we needed to have you on.
I appreciate it, man.
Felt right.
I appreciate it.
No, thank you. We thank you for joining, dude. You're fastly rising in the Husker podcast scene. I mean, just this last month alone, you've gone from under 100 subscribers to what do you have, like 130, 140 now?
Yeah, in the last 28 days, I've gone from about 40 to about 130.
That's awesome.
Nice.
That is amazing.
That man's a machine. He's a working machine.
That has blown me away. I got to be real. I didn't really know what to expect as I kind of transitioned because the BA coaches show that when it originally started was a little bit different of me kind of interviewing high school coaches, a couple college coaches. And I just kind of wanted to transition away from that. It just wasn't as much fun for me, if that makes sense. And I had a guy on my podcast that was pretty much just like, hey, everyone should do a podcast because we want, when you grow up, when you're gone one day, your kids, grandkids, they can see the real you when you kind of have yourself on camera talking. And I was like, you know what? I really took that to heart. And I was like, do I really want all of my internet footage here to be of me just sitting here interviewing high school coaches? Or do I want to talk about the thing that I'm very passionate about, football and Nebraska football in particular? So that's kind of why this transition happened. And I've been blown away by all the positivity and just overall growth my channel's had in the last month.
Brother, the Husker podcast family's no joke. we support each other. It's just like being on the football team. We're not against each other. We don't care who gets more views, who has more subscribers. We just want to help each other.
100%.
Doesn't matter who becomes the most successful. Somebody will be. You ask me, it's probably going to be Ken and Jen Red just because of that studio loan. It is ridiculous.
In August, I'm going up there, and I'm be sitting in that studio, and I am very hyped.
You're gonna be blown away.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'll be there. I'll be there like the first week of August. I'll be up there.
And Malcolm, if I could recommend another Husker podcast just to watch real quick on YouTube, is Generation Red. You see their studio. Once you come to Lincoln, you're going to want to get on their show. I guarantee it is sick. Absolutely sick. By far the best studio in the podcast family. I know I say a lot about Ken. I give him a lot of love, but it's all warranted. Completely warranted. So, hey, BA, where can everybody find your show?
Hey, any social media platform, just look up at the BA Coaches Show. Or if you just go to YouTube, look up the BA Coaches Show. I got stuff on there all the time. Going to have an upload from me here pretty soon. So be sure to check it out. We release weekly episodes, and I'm starting to get to 2 episodes a week now. From now on, from here till the end of the off season, It'll be a lot of guests on, having like just other Husker voices on. So that'll be a really good time. Current players, former players, other YouTubers, podcasters. And if you ever do want to go watch, I do a blog for nbnrpodcast.com on their website called Red Zone Reflections. And I've been doing some of my positional breakdowns that I've done on my YouTube channel. I put that in blog form on their website, and they've done pretty well as well. So sometimes my thoughts are a little bit more concise because sometimes I just turn the camera on and start rambling a little bit. And hey, it's good. It's good to do. But sometimes my thoughts are a little bit more put together and concise in blog form. So if you would like to check out some of my positional previews, and I also did a breakdown on kind of what the 3-3 defense looked like, because there was the beginning of the season last season, towards the end of the season, it did transition to a lot more man-to-man coverage. I mean, as Nick knows, I'm not breaking news to him, but
Yeah.
that was something that I kind of put together a little blog, and I have a video on my YouTube channel that's done pretty well. So it's just kind of things like that. I'm a football coach at heart, so I try and look at a lot of the X's and O's and kind of break some things down. So that's kind of where you can find a lot of my stuff.
Yeah, if you guys get the chance, Nick, Malcolm, definitely check out the BA Coaches Show. He's got a great football mind. The way he breaks down schemes, looks, everything. It's absolutely amazing how he sees us all in his mind. So,
I
and by the
appreciate
way,
that,
Coach Rule, we said maybe give Coach a look. You know, if you're looking for any assistance, anything like that, you got a hell of a football mind sitting right here.
Hey,
Don't we get unlimited coaches on field now?
Hey, that's what I've said. My dream job, I got like kind of the more realistic dream job for me is a head high school football coach in the state of Nebraska. That's something I've dreamed about since I was a little kid, is being a head football coach somewhere at a high school there. But then if I'm going the more unrealistic dream, one of my dream jobs is being on the University of Nebraska's football staff. Even as a recruiter, you don't have to pay me. I'm coming up there, man. I'm all about it. I'm as passionate as I am about the sport of football. I'm just as passionate about the Nebraska Cornhuskers. So just throwing it out there, Coach Rule. I mean, hey, you have my phone number. You have my phone number, Coach Rule. Just reach out to me.
All right, Malcolm, let's have you tell everybody where they can find you on social media, my friend.
You can find me on Instagram, Gotta Love Malcolm. You can find me on Twitter. It's just Malcolm Simpson. You can find me on. That's it, really. If you want to go on Snapchat, it's just Black Hub Mal. That's really it.
Now, I did find you on Facebook. I found you on Facebook. That's an old. You haven't posted anything since like 2021, I think.
I didn't even know I even had a Facebook.
I'm pretty sure it's you.
My mom got all my stuff on her Facebook page, but I didn't know I had a Facebook.
Oh, yeah. You might want to check your name out then. Maybe it's not you.
People making fake pages of me on Instagram and stuff like that.
I've seen those.
I'm like, bro, this is weird, but okay.
That's what happens when you get famous, Malcolm. You come to Lincoln, you're going to be more famous than you think.
Famous is crazy.
It is. All right, Nick, where's everybody going to find you, my friend?
I don't even know my username, but it's some sort of Nick Henrich 42. That's where I'll be. So, and I'll just say, yeah, it's Sunday. So if you're listening, go read your Bible today. God bless you guys, man. Thanks for having me on. It was fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. Before we head out real quick, got one last thing to show. This will be going on in October, the inaugural 426 Charity Golf Scramble. This has been started by Ken for Gen Red. All the information's right there. $500 per four-person team. That does need to all be paid right up front, but it's $125 per person. If you want to sponsor, it's $250 for a sponsorship. Your logo will be displayed at a tee. All that. I mean, there's going to be flag prizes, on-course games, silent auction, and all these proceeds will be donated to Salvation Army to provide continuing relief to the victims of the tornadoes in Nebraska and Iowa on April 26th. It was a devastating storm. It tore through Nebraska and Iowa. Absolutely ridiculous. And so there's going to be a lot of rebuilding for a while. And so this is going to be a great cause. We're involved. Kenny, you said you might be able to fly here for it if possible. So, I mean, we'll be involved. We're going to be sponsoring a hole. Coach, we would love to have you be involved and well if you get the chance.
I believe, I can't 100%, but I believe I'll be up there.
Awesome. All right, so I think we pretty much ran through everything. At this point, I think everybody knows where to find myself. They know where to find Kenny, and I'm pretty sure they know where to find Matt.
I would hope so.
We said it enough on this show. We really have,
Yeah.
but I'll keep repeating it. You can find the show on YouTube, pretty much any audio platform, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. No longer Buzzsprout, though, thank God. So we're done with them, but pretty much anywhere else.
Yep.
This should be out. Oh, hell, we're recording Sunday. It'll be out tomorrow. Pretty sure.
Right
I just
on.
send this over to our producer. He gets it done for me. And that's it. I don't have to edit anything anymore. I'm so happy. It sucks. If you guys, Nick, Malcolm, if y'all ever decide to do a podcast, definitely have somebody else do the editing.
Yeah, that's the worst part. It sucks.
Noted.
It's horrible. All right, so we'll go ahead and shut her down. You know where to find us. You know where to find Kenny, Matt, the coach. You know where to find Nick. You know where to find the newest Husker defensive lineman, Malcolm Simpson. So, Husker Army, you know what to do. At ease, you are all dismissed.
A Hurrdat Sports Network production.